Give your names.
I am Schmendrick, the magician. This is Molly Grew, my helper, and this is the Lady Amalthea.
Hi, I'm going to SequelCon in June. I'm very excited, and it's Houghton Tower. I think that's how you say it. I really hope that's how you say it. So it's like a castle-y place, and I thought I would take Amalthea because it would be fun to take Amalthea. And then I remembered that this dress was made 2 years ago, is she? And there's a lot of things that need fixing, so I'm just gonna like back up here. Like, it's very hard to see in here, but first of all, what is going on here? This corset's getting removed. This corset bodice is getting removed because it didn't work when I was wearing it. It definitely doesn't work now. There's like a piece of boning in here that is like, you can sort of see snapped in the middle. But I've not decided what I want to replace it with. So I've got two corset patterns. One that I've done before for my Terracotta bunny suit, and one that I haven't used before, and I just cut out the pieces for that. And I'm going to make mock-ups of both and see how I feel. But just to like run through the things in Amalthea that are getting changed / fixed, should I move like way back? Is that more visible, or am I just further away? This skirt, pretty good condition. I mean, like, there's bits at the bottom that need work. It's like just kind of dirty from being tracked through MCM, tracked through, you know, Con Centre, the outside, just London in general, so it definitely needs some work. These are, at the moment, they're like connected. I'm definitely going to separate them. If no other reason than I hate this bodice. I'm not keeping this bodice. I'm removing this bodice. It looks the way it does because it isn't like done up at the back and like part of the skirt is sticking out. But anyway, I digress. The bottom of this skirt is too long for me because I made it for when I was going to be wearing heels, and it was too long even when I was in the heels, and I just don't know that I want to wear heels for Houghton Tower, so I don't know, we'll see. But I think I'm gonna separate these two, hand wash these skirts, give them like a proper good wash, go through all of the chiffon that's fraying. There's embroidery on the back that I'm not like that attached to. I like the pattern, but I did it in like 3 days before the convention. I just kind of like, I don't think I'm gonna keep it. So anyway, I'm just gonna wash it, separate these two, wash it, probably cut off like at least an inch off every skirt. There's many layers of skirt here, so I hope this doesn't fuck up my audio. I've got one, which there's a lot of this skirt. There's like 7 meters of this skirt. And then I've got Sparkle. And then I've got this. And this is the one that's like in a state. I mean, yeah, I don't know if you can like, oh, it's so grim and so grimy, and the inside of it, like the seams, where'd the seam go? The seams are fucked. They are struggling. So yeah, at the moment there's no set plan for what's happening with this bit up here, but there is a set plan for what's happening with this bit down here, so I think I'm going to start on that, separating it, give it a wash, and then I'll see what I've got and I'll see where I'm going to go from there. I think that's the plan.
Digging through my costume bag, I also found the sleeves. These are in good condition and still fit, so we'll leave these as is. The bottom of both the skirts are in a bit of a state from being dragged through the streets in the dirt of London and the Excel. This whole bag actually had a real London Underground smell to it when you opened it up. Washing these was fairly simple. One at a time, I put them in the bath, sprayed them down with warm water, soaked them with laundry detergent, rinse and repeat. Afterwards, I hung them up on the washing line outside and left them to dry. Then, I pinned them down to the waistband and sewed it with the sewing machine.
So I did this really cool thing called misplacing all of my calico. I don't know where it's gone. But what I do have is this like blue cotton, I think it's a twill. It's either a twill or a drill. And cotton canvas that has a kingfisher on it. And I wanted to make, the whole reason I have this pattern is because I wanted to make it with that as a feature panel. So I'm just gonna make it. And then, if it goes horribly wrong, I have a second panel, and I'll just like try not to cry, basically. So, we'll see how that goes, shall we? I decided I didn't like the other one, so I'm using this pattern instead, which I used for my Terraco bunny suit, and I'm just going to remove the bunny suit pieces, so it's just a corset. I did put it straight onto the fabric I'm going to be using. I didn't bother with a mock-up, and I don't remember if I need a seam allowance on this last time, because I made it out of stretch fabric last time, so I ended up taking loads out. But the thing with this pattern is it's generally quite forgiving, and there's a piece of it somewhere, I'm actually not sure where, like specifically a modesty panel to go in the back. So if this ends up not working out, or being too small, or I can't lace it up properly at the back, I'll probably just do the modesty panel. Otherwise I might have enough to like make a few panels a bit bigger. I don't know. We're gonna have a look at that, I think. But yeah, for now I've just gone straight onto the fabric. I am drawing it in, and then I will cut it out. And then I have to go out tomorrow to buy some fabric to go over the top of this, because this is just like the base bit, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so that's all 7 pieces pinned out. This whole pattern is 14 pieces. 16 if you include the bunny suit piece and the back piece, which is there. So I don't have enough to like remake this entirely if this is too small, but I do have enough to at least cut that out. So swings and roundabouts, we are just gonna have to see. Yeah, but I'm gonna cut this out now, and then that's kind of where I'll transfer all the markings over to the other side, and then that's kind of where the crafting for this bit has to stop, unfortunately. I still haven't taken that apart. Don't look at that, it's fine. Right, that's all sewn together, and you know, I'm looking at the size of it, and I don't think it's gonna fit. I don't really know what to do about that other than like cry. But anyway, that's all sewn together, so the next thing to do now is to take it downstairs and iron it, because first of all, I don't know, I like marked everything here, and on some of them, although you can't see it on camera, on some of them you can see the numbers quite clearly, so those need to go. But also all of these seams now need to be pressed flat, so that they're ready for the top stitching to be made into boning channels. It does mean, because I did mark on that. Okay, here we go. That's an example. I did mark on most of the pieces where the boning channels will stop, but I can remark those. That's not too bad. I also am pretty sure that there's no way I'm going to get this back piece folded over, so I might just add another piece of fabric to the back of her, because it's in the back so you won't see it, but I don't know, I haven't decided. This could be a disaster. I might have to go back and buy more of the this cotton that I'm using. I've got loads of this, but I might have to get more of this and start over and do it properly with like the actual seam allowance. But next step is ironing, so we will see where we go from there.
After ironing all the seams flat, I cut off the excess of the top layer of fabric and sewed all of my edges with the overlock stitch on my sewing machine just to keep the fraying down. Then I pinned and sewed all of the boning channels with a straight stitch, which should look like this. You might notice I've sewn all the hems together and I'm only sewing them flat on one side. This is because each seam, besides the centre seam, only needs one piece of boning on one side, rather than one either side of the seam.
Okay, here is the stage that we are at with the corset. It's huge. This side, all of the boning channels now have been sewn in. I'm hoping they're big enough, but I don't know. And then on this side, you can sort of see it on the front, but it's easier to see it on the back. I've pinned now all of these boning channels except for this end bit. So this is what it's looking like when it's pinned. Hopefully this is what it will look like when it's done, and this is the end piece. So the eyelets will go in here. This isn't as clean as I was hoping it would be. It looks okay from the front. I don't think it's that like apparent from the front. But it's not as clean as I was hoping it would be. I was hoping to have some space to like fold all of my clean edges over so it'll be clean. I didn't end up with enough space. I didn't give myself enough seam allowance in the second one. So I'm gonna go let the cat in because I feel really bad. Uh-oh. That's gonna sound great, I'm sure. She's very sweet. She just wants to be held, which is going to make this very hard. So I'm going to put her down. So we're on to the point now of the corset where we stop putting the boning in, and the boning that I'm going to be using is spiral boning. This. I bought it like I didn't make this. I didn't like pre-cut it. I bought it pre-cut. It's got the end caps on it already, so I didn't have to do any of that, thank God. And if you're looking at this and you're looking at the size of the corset, you might be thinking that doesn't seem like enough boning for that corset, and you would be right. And that is because this is the stuff that I bought that's the wrong size. So actually, the corset itself is fully boned. There you go. There you go. It's fully boned. It has, I don't know, I didn't check, I didn't count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20? No, 18. It has 18 boning channels. And I also, because in order to put these in, some of them have this little channel at the front here for when you need to stop the boning, but some of them, like the end pieces here, don't, and that's because they just do the full length of the pattern. So I did start putting the bias on the bottom of the corset because that's a bit that's not going to get seen. So like I say, all of the boning is in there. It does technically fit, but getting the bias on the top is going to be a bit of a task. But it does technically all fit, so I'm gonna finish off this bias at the bottom. Just cut all the excess because at the moment there's quite a lot of overhang here of and this as well of all the extra fabric. So I'll cut all of that off, and then I will fold this over and sew it, and then I will sew the bias to the top. And then the next thing to do after that will be the eyelets, which are going to go on both sides in between these 2 boning channels here. And I'll just be following the pattern for that. But yeah, hopefully it all goes to plan. We can but hope, but we'll see. Hopefully my sewing machine doesn't throw a fit again when I'm trying to sew, because this corset has taken so much out of me. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
There's not a lot to be said about the fixtures at the back. I just use eyelets. We have this hole punch thing that I use to make the holes in the corset, and then I just followed the information on the back of the packet to put the eyelets in, and that was really all that went into this. When I tried it on, I found that it was still slightly too big, so I just removed a panel from either side. Honestly, I should have done this from the start because I had to do the same thing with my Terrico bunny suit. I'm gonna leave this panel out for future reference.
Hey, wouldn't it be really funny if I worked for this, on this, for like 4 hours and my camera died half an hour into recording? And I was so upset about it that I had to literally wait 2 days to recover from the sadness. I have a couple of pictures, but that's what's happened. This is where we're at. This is where we're at with it. It's not exactly how I wanted it to be. The desk's a bit of a mess. Not exactly how I wanted it to be, but considering I was working with toothpicks and a dream, I think it came out okay. The only thing that's left to do now is sew these flowers into this bit at the top. And that's all going to be hand sewing, and to be honest with you, Con is we leave the day after tomorrow at like midday. So I don't have very long. I have a whole other costume that I'm supposed to be working on. I found the horn that's in the bubble wrap, and I found also some hair pieces. If I've got a picture of those, I'll put that up. But probably the next time you're going to see me now will be in the hotel or at the event. This whole thing has been a nightmare start to end, and I'm really glad that I recorded as much of it as I recorded, so...
What have you done?
The fact that I was able to salvage this wig at all was honestly a miracle. This is a lace front wig I've had for years. I bought it off eBay and I've used it for so many different cosplays. But when I pulled it out of storage, it looked like this. So once again, with nothing but a pair of straighteners, a wig head I bought off Vinted, and a dream, I took to sorting it out. I genuinely wasn't sure I could fix this, but I sat down and streamed it on Twitch to force myself to do it anyway. The whole process with this wig was take a bit, straighten it, move on. And after that all worked, I know, I'm as surprised as you are, I just took sections and plaited them. When we got to the hotel the night before the event, I straightened the plaits, left it to cool, and then undid them. With all that out of the way, it's time to move on to the reveal.